Hi, welcome back. I hope you had a great Halloween. So, once again, as I mentioned in my first video, history is full of interesting people, beliefs, and places. Some of the most interesting places that have captivated the masses throughout time have been the 7 wonders of the ancient world. These wonders were first written about by Philo of Byzantium in 225 BCE. Many ancient scholars also wrote about the wonders, cementing their place in history. The 7 wonders of the ancient world include the Great Pyramid of Giza, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, the statue of Zeus at Olympia, the Temple of Artemis at Ephesus, the Mausoleum at Halicarnassus, the Colossus of Rhodes, and the Lighthouse of Alexandria. We'll definitely talk about all of these in detail over time, but today we'll start with my favorite and the only one that is still around, and that is the Great Pyramid of Giza. The Great Pyramid of Giza was constructed between 2584 and 2561 BCE by the Egyptian pharaoh Khufu. It lies in present-day Egypt near Cairo. Along with the Great Pyramid are 2 others built for Khafre and Menkaure that were built between 2700 and 2500 BCE. Sorry that I'm so terrible and I'm probably butchering every name in this video and probably every other video. Just a side note. Khufu's pyramid was the tallest structure on Earth and held that title for over 3,000 years. It wouldn't be surpassed until completion of the Eiffel Tower in 1889. The pyramid is 479 feet tall with a base of 754 feet. It covers 13 acres of land and is made of over 2 million stone blocks that weigh between 2 and 30 tons each. When constructed, the entirety of the outside of the structure was covered in gleaming white limestone that could be seen from miles around. This limestone has since fallen away and has instead been used in building the nearby city, Cairo. Some of it can still be seen, however, at the very tip. The inside of the pyramid, like many from ancient Egyptian times, is complex and mysterious. So let's lay out what we do know. The entrance to the pyramid is on the north side, approximately 59 feet above ground. The entrance takes you to a sloping corridor that goes deep into the pyramid before ending in an unfinished underground chamber. Off this sloping corridor is another corridor that slopes upwards and leads to what is known as the Queen's Chamber, as well as a gallery. It is at the end of this gallery that we finally come to a long, narrow passageway that leads us to the King's Chamber. There are some oddities in the construction, like outward shafts that could serve a specific purpose, like ventilation, which is what's most widely believed, or could serve a more religious purpose that we are unaware of. There are also 5 compartments built above the King's Chambers that are thought to be built to protect the ceiling of the burial chamber from the incredible weight of the stones above. Another big anomaly in construction was discovered in 2017 when Scan Pyramids used a non-invasive technology to scan the pyramid and discovered what is now referred to as the Big Void above the Grand Gallery and a small void seemingly in the middle of nothing. Experts aren't sure what the purpose of this void could possibly be, but are working on further technology that could hopefully see inside without disturbing anything, such as tiny robots or maybe using a fiber optic camera to get inside and take a look. The logistics of how the pyramid was built still baffle us today, even with our modern technology. The most commonly accepted theory seems to be that some type of ramps must have been used to aid in building. Using sand, dirt, or earth would have allowed them to easily raise ramps up and around the structure as it grew. Another popular theory is, of course, aliens. More likely, though, it is believed that whatever technology was used in creating the pyramids was so commonplace at the time that Egyptians didn't even think that the process needed to be documented, and thus it is unknown and can only be guessed at. What we do know is that it took a lot of around-the-clock manpower to build such an impressive structure in the time frame that it was done. Despite popular belief, the use of slave labor is probably not likely. Ancient documentation suggests skilled workers were well paid for their work on the pyramid and lived in nearby housing specifically for the workers. These housing sites and dedicated burial sites have since been uncovered. Now, as it has been observed regarding most, if not all pyramids, the Great Pyramid seems to have been constructed as a burial place for Pharaoh Khufu. Unlike other pyramids, mummies or grand grave goods were not found within the tomb. The Egyptians believed in life after death wholeheartedly. The grave goods typically placed with those who were mummified were personal possessions, offerings to the gods, things to make the afterlife easier, food, drink, and anything else they may possibly need in the afterlife. However, the fact that mummies or grave goods were lacking in the Great Pyramid has widely been explained by grave robbing. This grave robbing could have taken place at any time from the Old Kingdom onward. The Giza Plateau, on which the Great Pyramid of Giza lies, is a very crowded place, so let's talk about some of the other things that are on the site. As I mentioned earlier, also on the site are two other grand pyramids, one belonging to Khufu's son Khafre, and another belonging to Khafre's son Menkaure, as well as the famous Sphinx, which was also commissioned by Khafre. The pyramids seem to diminish in size as the funds for such great works also seem to diminish. Menkaure's tomb was the last grand pyramid to be completed at the site and was completed by his successor. His successor, however, was buried in one of the many mastaba tombs on the site. Mastaba pyramids differ in that they are rectangular in shape with a flat roof. They look much like what we're familiar with when we think of ancient Mayan and Aztec step pyramids. While they weren't as grand, they were still stocked and ready for the afterlife. Even though the funds for Great Pyramids had diminished, there was thankfully still enough for the upkeep. In addition to the three Great Pyramids and the many mastaba tombs on the Giza Plateau, are a set of pyramids by the Pyramid of Menkaure referred to as the Pyramids of Queens. Also interesting to note is that next to the pyramids of both Khufu and Khafre were found boat pits with boats buried, presumably to help them to the afterlife. This is further evidence of just how important the afterlife was to the ancient Egyptians and that everything was thought of to prepare them for their journey. The site is sprawling and no doubt an archaeologist's dream. You have cemeteries, tombs, temples, underground tunnels, the Sphinx, and not to mention the pyramids themselves. Today, the Pyramid of Giza is the only remaining wonder of the ancient world and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The pyramids receive approximately 14.7 million visitors per year. You're able to take tours of the site, ride camels, and even enter the pyramids of Khufu and Khafre for a price. So that is all I have for today. Egypt has always been near the top of my list of places I want to visit. I can't tell you how excited I was when I first heard of Assassin's Creed Origins, and I definitely had that one pre-ordered. I will watch a documentary on ancient Egypt any day of the week. I've been so in awe of the construction of the pyramids and other great works for so long. In addition to visiting the Giza Plateau, I know I definitely want to pop on down to the Valley of the Kings for more tombs and temples. So, again, that's all I have for today, so I'll see you guys in my next video.